North Sea ferries pioneered the roll-on, roll-off link between Hull and the continent, and they've stayed ahead ever since, with bigger and faster ships to carry the growing volume of traffic between the northern half of Britain and the rest of Europe. Cars, too, only a matter of minutes required to embark. For a family, it's the perfect start to a continental holiday. Load the car up at your own front door, with no baggage restrictions either. No unloading apart from overnight things until you reach your destination abroad. And the security of having all your personal belongings with you all the way in your own car. For the businessman, too, no frenzied dash from the office to catch a taxi or train with perhaps only an hour or two to sleep before keeping that important business date in Europe. If you're within a couple of hours by car from Hull, you can put in nearly a whole day at the office, arrive relaxed in your own car, drive it onto the ship and spend the night in really first-class comfort, and arrive in Europe with 2 good meals and a good night's sleep behind you. Arrival and departure schedules have been planned to save valuable time for all travellers, holidaymakers and businessmen alike. Departure in the evening, arrival next morning. Freight units are loaded early in the day to allow fast, uninterrupted loading of cars. You drive your own car all the time and park it under expert guidance from ship's personnel. Up to 500 passenger cars can be carried on the biggest of the North Sea ferry ships, and everyone has access to his car at all times throughout the voyage. It's the same facility as you'd get at any first-class hotel you might be staying at for the night. The only difference is that this floating hotel keeps up a steady 20 miles an hour throughout the night, carrying you and your car while you relax, eat and sleep in first-class comfort. And in terms of cost, it's much cheaper than any other form of transport. But North Sea ferries are not only for the motorist. There are special passenger fares for travellers in groups without cars. Train services to and from Hull are frequent and fast from most major cities, and North Sea ferries provide transport to and from the centre of Hull for every departure and arrival of their ships. The departure lounge at the terminal is ultra-modern, spacious and relaxing. For those with time in hand, there's a cafeteria, telephones, a bank with advice and money-changing facilities, and always the North Sea ferries hostesses. Their job is to get you on the ship with the minimum of fuss and bother. Customs clearance is a must whenever you travel abroad, but even that seems to have been speeded up at the North Sea ferries terminal, and a momentary check is all that's required by the immigration people, if your passport is in order, of course. You take only the baggage you want for the night when you go on board. The rest is taken care of by the baggage master, and you pick it up in Europe. All reasonable baggage is included in the price of your ticket too, so there are no extras to pay. You couldn't find better care if you were starting a 3-month cruise. But then, with a ship this size, and some North Sea ferry ships are over 12,000 tons, it can take a bit of time to find your way about. Although all decks are very clearly marked, and there are lifts from the lowest deck to the top. And that means there's no stumbling up ladders and stairways with overnight baggage from the car deck either. Lifts serve every deck, and an indicator outside every lift gate tells you what's on all the other decks. You can't get lost. But if you do, well, there's always the purser's office. North Sea ferry ships cater for all tastes, budget-wise too, with varying price ranges for cabins. Night sleeping accommodation is provided for over 1,000 passengers on the biggest ships, with 3 different types of cabins and 100 reclining seats. You feel the holiday atmosphere the moment you walk on board a North Sea ferry ship. They've been specially designed with every possible amenity to make you feel relaxed and comfortable. The perfect way to start a holiday. In fact, a holiday to start your holiday. Far away from the misery of railway stations and crowded platforms, stuffy trains and dragging hours of waiting for delayed aeroplanes, of crippling extra baggage charges and little or no sleep during your overnight journey. North Sea ferries sail on a regular schedule every day of the year except Christmas Day to and from Rotterdam and Zeebrugge. The cafeteria on board the bigger ships can seat 500 at one sitting. Service begins as soon as the ship sails and continues until 9 o'clock. The selection of dishes is wide enough to suit even the most discerning palate. There's a choice of hot or cold food, and you can help yourself to either. In fact, if you like some of each, then you can have both, and as many helpings as you like. The food is included in the cost of your ticket, no matter how much you eat. For those with young families, it's the ideal arrangement. Soup and coffee are brought to your table by waiter service. Wine, too, and although that's not included in the fare, it's still very cheap. North Sea ferry ships all carry a wide selection of fine wines and liqueurs, all at duty-free prices. Not many problems getting youngsters to bed either. The thrill of going to bed at sea seldom fails. There are all the facilities of a first-class hotel, too, in many cabins. Private toilet and shower, with an unending supply of hot water and luxurious beds that are as wide and comfortable as a hotel bed. There's a choice of 2-berth or 4-berth cabins with the same luxurious comfort. Carpeting beneath your feet, individual lights, dressing table, and a host of other little things that make all that difference. No babysitting problems either, although there are plenty of stewards and stewardesses on all decks to cope with any emergency. So now you can relax completely. No irritable, bad-tempered children tomorrow because of little sleep. Your luggage and your own car are with you, and there's an evening ahead of you in a most congenial atmosphere, and a choice of amusement as wide as most people could want. The softly lit intimacy of the snug bar with its music and dance floor. Yes, dance floor. All North Sea ferry ships are fitted with stabilizers. Even in gale conditions, these ultra-modern vessels retain a stability that allows you to forget the weather. All public rooms, like all cabins, are air-conditioned. There are rooms, too, where you can just sit and read, and a conference room that will seat up to 10 people. If you want to go shopping, for presents perhaps, perfume, jewelry, silkware, cosmetics, the toothpaste perhaps, or razor you left in the bathroom at home. A wide range of sweets and chocolates, silverware, they're all obtainable in the duty-free shop on board, and a lot of other things besides. Duty-free wines and spirits too. And with a selection like this, it's as well you've got plenty of time to wander around. There's no rush. This is the way to travel to Europe. By the time you've had dinner and a couple of drinks perhaps, the unwinding process has begun, and you really feel different. The holiday has already started. North Sea ferries put themselves in your shoes when they designed these ships and the amenities they have to offer. You can't help but catch the feeling of unwinding. And if you feel tempted enough for a little flutter, well, there's some harmless gambling in the Continental Lounge. The game is Joker 7, and the stakes are well within your pocket. Who knows, you may be luckier than you think. In any case, If you are holidaying in Europe, it's as well to get your hand in case there's a casino handy. The Continental Lounge seats 400, so there's plenty of space. A good bar too. Continental breakfast before you leave the ship, and a nice quiet corner with color television. Still on the subject of gambling, there are slot machines too, with mechanical games for the children, just to round the evening off. Blankets and pillows are provided, and lights are dimmed well before midnight for those passengers who sleep in the quiet lounge. There are 100 seats available, all reclined to a good sleeping position, and at greatly reduced fares, they provide a perfect answer to the budget traveller. All meals and other facilities are in the price of the ticket, including early morning tea. But whether you're sleeping or otherwise, and there are always quite a few revellers who dance the early hours away, you're in good hands. A purser and his staff who cater for the needs of all its guests, night and day. Even if you're on a slimming diet, it's an even chance you'll fall for the bacon and eggs at breakfast. There's fruit juice too, cereals, toast, coffee, the perfect start to the day, whatever you choose. The magic of arrival never really fades, even if you're an old hand. But for a first-timer, it's a memorable occasion, whether you've been at sea for a month or just one night. Europort near Rotterdam is the biggest and one of the most modern ports in the world. A massive area of dockland that caters for millions of tons of shipping a day. This, too, is the gateway to Europe. Stepping stone to 100, 1,000 different places spreading out from this one point on the map. The great North Sea ferry ships that ply between Europe and Britain depart and arrive with deceptive simplicity and ease, and with the regularity of a bus or mainline train. The great engines that speed her across the North Sea overnight can then put her alongside as gently as a feather, their massive power responding immediately to every command that the mass of electronics on the bridge transmits. Within seconds of tying up, the car ramp begins to lower at the stern. And another one for passengers, exactly in line with the covered gangway that leads to the passenger lounge. Baggage trailers are immediately coupled up and unloaded to await the now disembarking passengers. All this within a matter of 2 or 3 minutes of the ship tying up. There's no time wasting in getting you on your way, whether you're a walking passenger or a car driver. In fact, car drivers too begin the disembarking procedure before the ship ties up. The only difference, they go to the car deck below ready to drive off immediately after the luggage trolleys have left. This is the North Sea Ferries Eurocenter, the most modern arrival center in Europe, and the biggest. It can cope with over 1,000 arrivals at a time, and by the time you've checked with immigration, your baggage is already waiting for you. Trolleys are always available if you've got a bit more than you can carry by hand. As in all North Sea Ferries terminals, Europort has banking and money-changing facilities. If you're going into Rotterdam for an onward journey, then a North Sea Ferries coach will take you. There are coach stations at all North Sea Ferries terminals. Coaches meet every arrival in Hull and in European ports. A similar service leaves from the centre of each city to take departing passengers. Fares are low too. It's all part of the North Sea Ferries way of doing things and getting you to your holiday or business appointment in the most enjoyable and time-saving way. It takes no longer to get your car off the ship than it did to take it on board. You drive your own car, of course, and the same expert supervision from ship's personnel. There's no mad rush, just a constant, well-ordered disembarkation that sends you on your way in minutes. Perhaps it's the result of long experience, perhaps they have some secret, But it almost seems that customs officers know you're not really carrying anything you shouldn't. It could be the nice relaxed look you get from a night on board a North Sea ferry ship, of course. And it is relaxing. Instead of the first, it's really the second day of your holiday. But you haven't lost a day, you've gained one, a bonus day. A day you might have wasted, a day spent in uncomfortable surroundings just getting to your holiday. Now you're already on the continent. You have everything with you, you've all had a good night's sleep, proper food, you've been able to change your money, everyone's in a good mood, and there's nothing more to do but enjoy yourself. Rotterdam, a great city, well worth a stopover if you're not in a hurry, but even if you're only passing through, there's lots to see, and Rotterdam leads to lots of places. North Sea Ferries brings you within overnight reach of the start of a great adventure. From Rotterdam, 100 places with names alone that make them exciting. Berlin, Vienna, Rome, even Athens and Moscow, Paris, Nice and other sunspots too, Spain, Portugal, even Gibraltar. So whether you go by bus or train or in your own car, North Sea Ferries is the way to get to Europe. The holiday to start a holiday.